So it is going on 4 years since I've left America and moved to the Netherlands. And every time I go back and visit the States, one of the questions I get asked the most is it actually safe compared to the States? I'm gonna have to say it's a big old fat. All right, now before we get into it, I do have to state, look, this is not a diss track towards America nor the Netherlands. I'm just going by my experience. So look, if you disagree with something and you want to pull up in the comments after you hit that subscribe button. And now also, along with that, I will only be talking about my experiences because look, I'm from the hood of Chicago. I've also lived in Atlanta for a long time, and I've also moved to LA. So I'm gonna talk about experience I've had in these places. Something that I always say, and I say it openly, like I ain't got no shade saying it, is when I go back and visit Chicago, I do not go to where I'm from. I do not go to the hood. Like I'm just being real, And man, I remember going back like once, and this was like years ago. This was when my grandmother passed away. I went back, and no joke, I was sitting at a stop. I was behind a car, and it was a bit strange because this car was just like sitting there, like legit, like the light's green, he's still sitting there. But the one thing I've learned from being in Chicago is you do not honk and you don't flash your lights. And man, good thing I didn't. Because man, you see, while I was sitting there, they were waiting for somebody to hop in the car. That's why they weren't moving. They were picking somebody up. And so the guy comes out, hops in the car, and I'm not even lying. You could see a stick hanging out his back. And now look, for y'all who don't know what I mean by a stick, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a text right here saying what it is. And what's crazy about the whole thing was the dude who was getting in the car was nice. He was like waving like, sorry, just hop right in, but with a stick hanging out the back. And look, if I'm being real, I don't even think I was in the hood. Like I wasn't in my hood, my old hood. I don't even remember where I was. And I have definitely experienced a lot more than this in Chicago, but that, like, come on, like just hanging out it was like literally just tucked, hanging out the back as he was getting in the car. And now for anybody who don't know this, but Chicago is known for its violence, and especially in the south side of Chicago, like in the hood, like, and that's where I'm from. And that's why I don't go back, man. I go to Chicago, but I never go to the hood. Like I did my nickel, I ain't going back, like for real. Oh no, it's raining, dang. It's been kind of raining off and on all day, and I'm all the way in the pipe. Also too, I think Van Gogh and like all the museums are actually down that way. I would go down that way, but it's raining, man. like I don't want to get the drip wet too much. And also too, if you go down this way, so the museums are that way, but if you go down this way, you'll actually run into Vondel Park as well as that Hard Rock Cafe that I went to that one day. Go check that video out, how much I spent in a day. Go check it out. And now, the whole thing in Chicago sounds so crazy the more and more I think about it. But like that's the norm over there. Like it's expected. It's like, oh, it's just Chicago. Something like that would never happen here. And I'm gonna be honest, when I was in Atlanta, this stuff didn't happen, not really on that scale, but they carry heavy too in Atlanta. Like it is, yeah, and they be carrying in the nice areas openly. I don't understand where all these weapons and how all this stuff is happening, but at the same time, I think I kind of get it in a sense of like, a lot of people are afraid to call the police. Like I've had so many incidences like involving police in my life in Chicago, a couple of times alone. And yeah, it wasn't all that great. I would not, if I was in trouble, I'll be honest, I would not call the police. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, I am pro police. It's just, I've had too many situations personally happen to me that I would not call the police. But that's just me. And now, speaking of police, my life in Atlanta. Now, that was an interesting one only because, I'll be honest, again, I'm pro-police, but man, that police harassment, that did not make me feel safe. Like, I have experienced it a few times in Chicago, like when we got arrested while we were playing basketball or when I got shoved against that wall to get checked, and a few other situations. But in Atlanta, I don't know what, maybe it's because it's the South, but holy cow, like, man, these people, they were on me all the time. And it's mainly started when I had to be maybe 16 and I was starting to drive more. That's when it started to happen, like just over and over. Just the audacity of like pulling a kid over, telling them to get out of the car, putting handcuffs on them, you know, searching them, then searching the car, thinking the car is like stolen. Do you have drugs? Do you have weapons? Like just all of that for somebody who's 16. My first time this happened to me, I was 16. And I was legit just getting over all the Chicago stuff because that didn't happen that happened maybe 4 years prior or so, something like that. But I was just getting over that stuff. And then the moment I started driving, it just started all over again. And it just kept happening. Like I don't know how many times this would happen to me, but it just kept happening. Especially when I would be with my Asian friends. It just kept happening. And now other than that though, I'll be honest, Atlanta wasn't so bad. I mean, it wasn't like I felt safe when I was just out and about. It was just certain incidents like this harassment that would happen to me with the cops and also the harassment that would happen to me at stores. And now when it comes to living here, I will say I have never felt that way at all when it came to police or people of authority. Never felt that way at all. I'm just being dead serious. No one ever pulled me over, stopped to check me. No one's never just stopped and asked me questions, stuff like that. Like, it's just never happened. Even at stores, people don't stop and think I'm stealing, you know, like it just never happens. I mean, I could even go as far as to say that I do feel comfortable talking to police officers here. I do it all the time. Like I'll just randomly stop and talk to them just to ask them like, hey, is this boosted board legal? Man, I know that sounds funny, but it is the truth. I've actually done that. I've asked them about my boosted board. I've asked about my scooters, anything that like, I've asked them for directions. Like it's crazy. But yeah, not so much in Atlanta though. I mean, yeah, again, it's gotten better, especially with the cops. I have not had any incidents within the last, I would say, pretty much since I've left. I haven't had any crazy incident. I have gotten a couple pullovers just for random stops, which was, they kind of made it obvious that there was like racially profiling. But for the most part, I didn't have to get out of my car, not once, since I left and moved to LA. So now the Dutch police are great. What about Dutch drivers? Do people drive safe? Because you definitely cannot talk about safety without talking about driving. I remember when I started driving my motorcycle, wow, like people cannot drive. I've been hit by cars. I think I've been hit by like 3 cars. Look at that Dunkin' Donuts right over there. That's a nice Dunkin' Donuts, man. Right at the bottom of all these leaning houses. All right, we are passing the Hollywood Boulevard of Amsterdam. They got people dressed up over there and everything, man. Oh man, the rain's really coming down now. Holy cow, man. I'm definitely gonna have to put the camera away, so we have to finish this up at the station. But look at the house. But quick side note though, the weather is like perfect. I mean, dang, it feels nice. Even though it's raining, it feels super nice. And now something that I cannot really talk about here is the driving as well as like the motorcycle. I don't know if people are like crazy drivers here or not, I'm gonna be real, but I have heard that they drive a lot better here as well as in Germany too. A lot of people say that people like Germans can drive really well, like y'all good too. I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because just the amount of hoops you gotta jump through just to get your license, like to me it makes sense. Like it might be expensive, but yeah, it makes sense. But still though, I cannot comment on it only because I'm not driving here like that much. So basically you guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments below, are Dutch good drivers? I remember that one Max Verstappen's quote when he when he hit that drift on him at the Brazil Grand Prix in 2016. And they asked him like, how'd you do that? And his answer was literally like, I'm Dutch.
Because I'm Dutch.
Because I'm Dutch.
So yeah, I'm assuming y'all are good drivers, but let me know, I could be wrong. Let me know.
Is Haarlem. Station Haarlem.
And I do want to make it clear that it's not like I'm saying nothing happens here, because there are crimes. Also, there's petty theft and like things like that. But mainly, overall, you feel safe. And this is the honest to God truth. Like, yeah, it's a lot safer here. People are outside all the time. There are cafes and shops in like most neighborhoods, not just the city center, but like inside neighborhoods, which give you a chance to actually get to know people because you're seeing them so often. So you actually know the people in your neighborhood. And since most people commute using bikes or they're just walking and they're just out and about, again, it just helps it all feel a lot safer. But now let's talk about LA and the situation that just a lot of situations that started to happen while I was living in LA that just made it, I would say, the states just start going downhill. Man, look at that. Look at the sun. Holy cow, where did this come from? It was like raining like crazy in Amsterdam. And now this is something that I have mentioned in the past regarding work, and that is sometimes I would have to go into work on weekends to change commercials or help the crew change commercials and do all these other things because there was literally like a school shooting. And now look, I don't know what was going on with the states at the time, but around this time, it was just shooting after mass. It was insane. Like for real, it was starting to become so common that it was almost like maybe 2 or 3 a week. And that's crazy. It was happening at schools, happening at malls. It was happening in all these public places, happening in no matter what state it was happening all over. And not to mention when these things would happen, it was blasted everywhere. I mean, like you could not blink and not hear about it. Like it was everywhere, and it was so terrible because a lot of times it was at like schools. Like you're just like why? What is going on? And this was around the time too where my wife and I were thinking about having kids. We were preparing to, you know, have kids, and wow, these things just kept happening. And yeah, I would say that's when the safety of like America in general, it was just, I would say that's when it took a huge hit. But think about it, like think about how crazy that is to be called into work because there was like a mass shooting, and now you have to go and change like commercials out. Like everyone's called in to change commercials out. And for real, comparing the states to like Europe or even the Netherlands, that's a whole, that just needs to stay over there. Like it's a whole different category. It is obviously like when you think about those like things like that, it is obvious that it's a lot safer here than over there. And now for me personally, I don't hate guns, and honestly, I don't even think that would solve the problem. If you got rid of all of them in America, it would not solve the problem. Like I don't know what the answer is, but I do think, you know, banning them will not solve the problem. I mean, at least not in the States. I'm just being real, because other European countries and other countries, they have guns too, but they not having the same problem. They also have access to the same video games that we play. They also have access to the same music we listen to, but yet it's only in the States. So that to me says that it's something bigger. Like it's something a little bit deeper. So I am not pro gun, but I'm also not pro like ban guns. I don't know what the solution is. Dang, she threw me all off. But now though, let me tell you about the craziest thing I've saw here when it comes to safety. And now I'm not even joking. Like this is how you know that the Dutch are they just full on gangsters sometimes. And look, I walked specifically to this street just to tell you what happened, because I was walking, I was vlogging, and no joke, there was a guy who like rammed into another guy. I guess he wasn't paying attention. He was in a car. Both guys got out of their car, no joke. And the guy who rammed into the other guy, they were talking, yelling, and this guy like just, I didn't know what was going on, but this guy punched this dude right in the face. The guy fell down, and no joke, the dude who punched the other dude picked him up, and then they started talking. Like I think it happened like right here. And I mean, obviously I'm not gonna film it, but yeah, he just picked him up and they started talking. It looked like they were exchanging information. I'm not a nosy guy. I mean, so yeah. But that's like, again, that's like, yeah, man, gangsters. And now just to throw a quick curveball in really quick though, the States isn't bad though. That's what I'm trying to, I do try to tell people that. I feel like it's all in their head, and I think it's the media, man. It's the media. The States is not that bad, but the media makes it sound like you don't want to leave your house, so people don't even leave their house. So yeah, overall, I will say the Netherlands is extremely safe. Like it is unbelievably safe. You can go out at night. You can leave things on the bus. Like my wife and I have left things on buses before, and we've gotten it back the next day. Like, like it is extremely safe. I could leave the drip without worrying too much, but yeah, for the most, yeah, kids go outside and play. And I think that plays a huge role in it, because I think the community aspect really plays a role in just the safety of the Netherlands. I'm being dead serious. The whole community as a whole, just being out, being around each other, and hanging with each other. I think that just plays such a big role in the safety here. And yeah, personally to me, it's one of the safest countries, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys think down below, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I would love to know. But yeah, till then, that is all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I mean, even this, I'm even comfortable leaving my drip right here. Just to get some shots. I even do it in Amsterdam all the time.